Hi guys, it's your boy Art and Monsters again here. Welcome back to my social media thing. And today I'm going to be doing some cross stitch and I will be telling part 2 of my artist's creative life story, all about piano lessons. So first, to start with, like I said, I'm doing some cross stitch. I am making a bird on this little mini kit here. And this is actually the first cross stitch project that I've ever done. I am learning to do this on this project. And this mini kit that I got is adorable. I picked it up while I was visiting an educational farm run by the Audubon Society. And it just seemed like a really cute thing to try and pick up while I was, on a nature walk. Like I said, this is the first time that I am trying cross stitch. I have done little hand sewing projects for costume making since I was in high school, and this really speaks to me and I really enjoy it because it's all of that relaxing, repetitive motion of hand sewing with half of the frustration. Not having to worry about where's this piece of fabric, where's that piece of fabric, did I measure this correctly, will it fit me when it's done, are the stitches tight, are they together, nothing's loose, nothing's knotted, okay, everything works. Because with cross stitch, it's the same motion over and over on one piece of fabric, and if I screw up, I can just go backwards, like you're probably going to see a lot in this video. I can just retrace my stitches and go backwards and redo it, and still enjoy just doing it over again. So feel free to leave comments on how I'm doing with the cross stitch, whatever advice you have for my newbie self at this. If you want to say, hey, the back of your cross stitch is a mess, please feel free. It really is. So anyway, with that out of the way, I will get into the story about piano lessons. After this water break, drink some water, my watchers. Be good to yourself. Okay, so piano lessons. I took piano lessons from about when I was, I think, 10-ish. And I took them for 3 years. It's a little hard for me to place in time exactly when this happened, just because when I was a teenager, my mental health started really taking a nosedive, and now I have memory issues recalling some things from my later childhood. It's great. Anyway, so I took piano lessons for 3 years, and what really got me started was that as a kid, I was just as much musically inclined as I was artistically inclined. Music and art are one and the same, really. It's just painting with sound, honestly, for me. So I was very musically inclined. I was always humming, dancing, singing, making a beat with whatever I could get my hands on, playing improvised instruments, all of that stuff. And my parents realized one day that, hey, our kid actually has really good pitch and uncannily can kind of remember and sing back or play back tunes that they remember from TV commercials and movies, and it's kind of weird. We should expand on this and we should nurture it. So they asked if I wanted to take music lessons, and I said yes. At the time, I thought it was fun. I wanted to improve my music skills so I could keep playing around and keep having fun with it and improving and making my own stuff. So I was really into the idea. More water. So I got into piano lessons, and I turned out to be a really fast learner. I burned through the theory books, I started burning through the recital books. My teacher was very impressed, and my family and my teacher and everyone around me was convinced that I was going to be a piano player when I grew up, when I was an adult. This was going to be my career, according to everyone else, which kind of was where things started diverging from what I wanted from the experience. You know, I was just a kid. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to have fun. I didn't necessarily want to take this in a serious direction. I didn't necessarily want to take this artistic endeavor and turn it into something work-related and take all the joy out of it. So I kept playing for a few years because it was fun. And then we got to the point where my parents started sort of forcing me to sit down for an hour every day and practice my recital pieces and my warm-ups. And if you know anything about ADHD in children, it's that the one way to get us to never do a thing, the one way to get us to hate doing a thing more than anything, is to force us to do it. So I was very unhappy being pushed into this in a more serious way. And it got to the point where I spent less and less time coming back to the piano and messing around with it and improvising and expressing, because I was already getting my fill of it during that 1 hour of practice time when it was boring and horrible and I didn't want to do it. So I tried quitting a couple of times. The first time, my piano teacher gave me this big, important speech with like a pie chart and something involved, I think. And she talked all about how, you know, this is the percentage of people who regret stopping taking music lessons during their childhood. This is how fast your skills will decline, how fast you'll lose everything you've learned. This is what people say about, I wish I had never quit music classes. It brought me so much joy, and now my life is empty. And me, being a very sensitive, pre-anxiety teenager, I sat there and it made me cry a little. I was scared to quit, so I backed down and I kept practicing. Eventually, though, my parents did notice that I was getting very frustrated with this, and eventually they noticed that it stopped being fun for me and started being more of a chore and more of one of those things where, like, at holiday parties, they were the ones pulling it out as a party trick, and family and friends were like, oh, play Jingle Bells, ha ha ha. Play something nice for your grandma, ha ha ha. And they just noticed that the intent wasn't there for me anymore. So eventually my parents acquiesced and did let me walk away from it. And with them behind me on that, I was finally able to talk to my teacher and be like, look, I think the piano and I should see other people. I'm so sorry. And we did. And after that, I didn't go near the piano pretty much for a few years after that, because it just was such an awful experience for me by the end of it. And I do kind of regret that, because I did kind of lose a lot of the dexterity that I had built up, a lot of the muscle in my hands that I had built up over practicing and doing warm-ups. But aside from that, I retained all the theory knowledge that I gained, which has been invaluable to me. Piano is one of those base instruments of the music world that if you learn piano theory, then you've learned the theory for half the musical world, and you have the ability to at least read music for almost any instrument, owing that it's not an instrument with frets. Guitar confuses me to this day. I'm sorry. But piano theory is one of those gateway basic music skills that opens up the musical world for you. And it has come in handy for me time and time again that I know how to read sheet music and that I have that experience and can hear and put context to musical theory in my head now because of that. So in a way, I did lose some of the skills like my teacher imposed on me. But on the other hand, she was wrong because a lot of the important stuff has stuck with me to this day, and I still pull it out when I need it for other musical projects. Okay. Well, that wraps up my story about piano lessons. This is a nice and short one, which is definitely something I've been working on. I'm sorry. And this is ordinarily the part where I would cut out the voiceover and let you guys just watch a montage of me being silly while I talk to myself doing cross stitch. But it's actually a really noisy day around my apartment. You probably can pick up on some of that still on the voiceover. There's a dog daycare behind my apartment that's very full right now, and they act up anytime a police truck or an ambulance or a fire truck go by. And also my neighbors are having some folks rebuild their roof deck. So lots and lots of neighborhood noise today on the original track, so I can't necessarily do that. But what I am going to do is go back to working on this lovely cross-stitch project with this lovely bird here, and I will leave the voiceover up so you can listen to me hum along to some silly stuff, and you can enjoy this preview of part 3 of my artist's story, which will be all about singing and probably high school theater. Okay, well, I will be right back once I get set up with that. Okay, open YouTube, let's see. This has been stuck in my head. Yes. Do the thing. Hopefully I can get away with this by not playing a background track. Okay. See, this is why I should be leading the way. I never feel the drums fall. I crush the skulls and die on my heart. Oh, horse. Poor horse. Lovely horse. Let's see. If that could not do that, that would be great. Hello, tiny stitch. Don't do that. That's fine. Is that? Did it go back? No. Shit. I hope you're enjoying the ASMR quality swearing. Sorry, not sorry. My mother's from the Boston area too. I picked it up from her. At least that's what she always says. Oh, I haven't listened to that for a while. I don't even remember the words. It's on the rise. Okay, here's a question. How do you spell Audubon? Does anybody actually know? Leave a comment with your best attempt at spelling the word Audubon, or if you actually know how to spell it, please tell me. I have never been able to spell it. I can't even get close. Google doesn't even recognize when I try to look up how to spell it. Audubon. Audoban? I don't think that's right. I really enjoy that there's so many green spaces around the city of Boston to enjoy. We went to the Audubon like a week or two ago with some friends. And then yesterday was the Harvard Arnold Arboretum. So picturesque and idyllic. I used to miss that about the place that I grew up. I grew up in the suburbs with a lot of like wooded areas around. But now I can get my nature fix here. It's nice. Santiana, we left him buried off Cape Cod, on the plains of Mexico. I love sea shanties. That was Santiana, sung by the Longest Johns. But it's an older one. It's actually a historical story about a Mexican hero. Santa Ana. I'm just about finished with the black cap on my robin's head. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Cool. So this has been cross-stitching with ya boy, Art and Monsters. If you like my rambling, like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget about my Venmo link in the description down there. Yeah, I hope the rest of the day is good to you, my friend. Okay, signing off. Bye-bye.